Hello, everyone. Welcome to Simulation Talk 309. Oh, that's what's going on. Aha! I was like, what's happening? Why is this not? I was wondering why we don't have a beautiful, crisp sound. All right, we're going to have a beautiful, crisp sound in one moment. There we go. Beautiful. Now we can talk. How are you, everybody? Welcome to Simulation Talk 309 once again. What up, Guru? So good to see you. Thank you so much for being on top of everything. It's quite incredible. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna, just for the kick of it, I'm gonna open, skip, finish. I'm gonna open our stage on core events. There we go. Okay, we're in now. So, what up, Carter? How are you, brother? What up, Scat? Scat is saying he's absolutely must hear about the console. You said you would make a video about it. People wanted to hear more, but I never saw it. Yeah, so maybe you missed the other lives in which I was talking about how I started making a video and gave it a couple of iterations, and then I realized I'm just kind of repeating myself. So I decided I don't want to do that until I have new information. Unfortunately, I'm a little saddened to say that when we did the 5-hour DMTX extended state, we started looking at the console, but towards the end, and my brain was already very tired. Next time I'm doing it, I'm definitely going to be investigating the console more than anything else. And hopefully I'll have some stuff to report. I understand console is very interesting to me as well. I just wish I would have more things to say about it. Thank you so much for spearing the way with this wonderful question. I think it's relevant. Guru is making some yerba mate tea. I love yerba mate. It's great. What up, Jake? Jake, I think you've ordered a laser, right? Your laser is on the way, I believe. Unless, let me see. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, your laser is on the way. As many others. I always miss your live because they never seem to get a notification, but I did. Oh, interesting. Yeah, some people told me this. Thank you so much, Rose. Wait, no. Somebody's sending roses. And thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate it. Jaguar. Is there any further research done apart from the laser looking at the wall? Yeah, we've done brain scans, and the brain scans are revealed there's some language processing happening while I'm looking at the laser, which is kind of interesting. So we're going to be investigating this a little deeper and see if there's any real information there. So a combination between brain scans, projecting the laser on the, exotic arrangements of things. So like with powerful magnets, things like this, and then seeing what potentially changes. Those would be the future explorations. I wish that the moment to moment trying things would be more glorious, but the truth is that it's just kind of like, you're just trying something, aside from the fact that the spirit molecule is involved, which is always exciting. Unless there's an actual push through and an actual thing that we discover, there's no glory there. So hopefully soon we'll have some more glory, but I appreciate the question. 1 second. Let me make this. If it is not too risky to answer, how do you acquire your molecule? I'm getting ready to do my first extraction after learning how easy it is to do. So to be quite honest, and I'm not being a smartass about it, I don't require it anymore. It just kind of finds me when I feel like I'm following the way of the Tao, and then whenever it's really required, it kind of finds its way. It's kind of interesting how that happens. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be able to give you that advice either way because of the obvious reasons. But the truth is that I don't even know at this point. So, oh, Dimitri is in the house. How are you, brother? So good to see you, everybody. Dimitri, literally Dimitri, is in the chat on TikTok, and his channel is great. It has everything to do with the medicine and awakening. I highly appreciate you guys follow him. And Nathan is in the house. Wow, man, this is like some turn up today. This is amazing. How are you guys doing? You got it, my brother. Dimitri, just the way it sounds. It has two B's, two actual B's, and in the name. Look him up. Great channel. And Nathan, man, how have you been, man? I missed you. And we have some turn up here. Let me see on Discord. Carter is saying good stuff today. Inventory, home improvements since we bought this place. And it's a weird way to look back on the thing, but cool. At the same time, most science is boring AF. But we're gonna make it exciting. We're gonna make it exciting. We're gonna make the steps and even the failures exciting. I promise. All right. Let's see what we got here. If you don't have Discord, I highly recommend you get that. Oh, and if you guys do want to follow our Twitch channel, it's LaserX83 on Twist. Twist should be a social media thing, no? I'm surprised it isn't. Twitch. If you want to follow us on Twitch and help the channel grow, it's LaserX83 on Twitch. It would definitely help a lot with the channel. And I highly recommend you guys join our Discord group, the link to which you can find both on TikTok in the link tree and on YouTube on the main page. Thank you so much, Guru. There are several YouTube videos that randomly found me explaining how to extract. It's surprisingly simple. It is very, because the molecule is very simple. Yeah, it is true. You speak the truth, sir. What's up, Mo, PJ? What up, everybody on TikTok? And welcome, everybody, also on YouTube, Twitch, and X. Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the gifts. Okay, so what should we get into today? I will be honest. We are now at live 309, and I started this thing originally to try and engage with people more directly, to see what fans really care about and connect a little bit more. But the truth is that over time, I feel like everything that was to be said about this project, I said a million times over, so everybody can just kind of go and watch the lives. And on the one hand, I wanna keep loyal to the promise that I'm gonna keep doing these lives. Originally, it was supposed to be daily, but now it's becoming exceedingly difficult. And to be quite honest, it's not even that I can't show up on a daily basis. It's that I feel like sometimes if I'm too run down that day, or too tired, or too cranky, or whatever, I'm really not doing anybody a service by showing up and being way too spicy that I need to be, which happens. I would freely admit that. So I guess to me, the question becomes, what do these lives should be or become? They need to evolve. There needs to be something that excites, that entices, that makes people connect. Because very often people come on and bring on beautiful topics, but they're the same topics, and then you kind of have to answer the same thing. And also, I've kind of expressed everything I had to say on these topics. So I'm actively fishing for new ways to come to the lives. I will also be releasing a lot more videos in the upcoming months, but kind of revitalizing, the what the channel really is. But the lives are going to continue, at least for the time being. But I want to actively make the lives stand out and a little bit different than what they so far were, because I think everything that could be said about the project, until of course we have some breakthrough, was expressed. So in that sense, I'm still going to be answering questions. I'm going to do my best to, to try and say these things in ways that are fun and exciting and something that is worth tuning in for. But yeah, so if anybody has suggestions, if you guys have ideas for games, trajectories, or particular topics that you guys want me to touch on that might excite everybody, that would be great. Thank you so much, Guru, for everybody's reminder. What up, MBN Glass? Good to see you. Uh, all right. Jake is adding to the experiment. Yes, please add to the experiment. We appreciate you. It is interesting that some people don't get notifications. It is kind of strange. Not a bot. That's a great handle. It would be funny if that's a bot. Agent Smith is in the house. Agent Smith is watching. Thank you so much for the likes, guys. I see people are giving us a lot of love today. Thank you so much. So yeah, I guess I every day I open my, because it depends on like, okay, so channels that are, I guess, more political in nature, they always have something to talk about because every day something happens. Every day some crazy shit happens, and you get to talk about that. But I really don't want for this to become kind of like chewing bubblegum, just kind of repeating the same things, and which to a large extent it's for a long time what I was doing, kind of repeating the same ideas. How do we evolve? What do we talk about? It's hard to say because we don't deal with the subject that carries news every single day. Reaction videos were a thought. The issue with reaction videos is, of course, the fact that they block the video and then have to you have to. So we do some of, I guess, a form of that in our weekly lives for members only. Which, by the way, I highly recommend you join the membership program on YouTube on Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts, if you want to join those once a week. But it's hard to say. It's hard to say. There's not a lot. At this point, it's very difficult for me to open YouTube and find something that's truly enthralling and new and exciting. It just means that I have to kind of create the content that I would like to see in the world, so to speak. And it's a nice challenge, but also creating videos is a lot more time involving than just doing the daily lives. Agent Smith saying, I seen Rupert say that consciousness is the collapsing of the wave function, and I think he was right. Yeah, Rupert Sheldrake is known for his what is it called? What is it? Something resonance. Come on, brain. Morphic resonance. There you go. Actually remember before it came up, so great. I'm not fully baked. Morphic resonance, and the idea there is that there's these morphic fields that are permeating throughout the universe, and the information that is available in any level of development of any stage of the universe is now available everywhere. This is actually kind of interesting because, like, certain cures that come up and all of a sudden they pop everywhere, and it's not just people came up with them independently at the same time, kind of thing. So there's definitely something to it. About quantum field wave function collapsing is consciousness. I think it's a very blunt description, and to as far as I know, to the best of my knowledge, Rupert is not really offering any specifics there. So it's kind of one of these things where it kind of sounds good, but is it really true? We have no idea, and there needs to be a way to substantiate this. And of course, the whole idea of core OR, if you guys are familiar, microtubules, that's the same idea that consciousness arises from wave function collapse, quantum events on the microtubule level in the brain, which again, I do think there's something there. However, my position is that consciousness does not arise from anything. Consciousness is literally existence itself. It is fundamental. I'm much more on the idealistic side of it. But I do think that something happens on the scale of microtubules that is unique, that gives rise to some instantiation, at least, of what consciousness is in our layer of existence. And Anybody, if you anybody on Discord wants to come on and chat, feel free to just raise your hand, and I can bring you on. Oh, we have a lot of comments. Hold on, let me see. Du- 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 du. Being glasses ideas, that's great. I'm recently struggling with the reactions to the absurdity in society. Do you have any experience with this? And do you have any recommendations to how to keep peace in mind in the face of craziness? That's a great question. I'm very happy you asked. Also, welcome to everybody on Twitch. Thank you so much, Namikaze, for following. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Saying great fan of the work. Happy you found it. Oh, thank you so much. Plus a comment from Twitch is always great because we don't get a lot of those, so I appreciate it. Tell other people on Twitch. So I really love this question, Scat Williams. It is crazy times. I always say that within the simulation, this is the great marking. I call it the great marking is because people basically, the way that people react to world events, people brand themselves. They mark themselves as something. So you basically brand your internal space. You're saying to the world how you feel about particular things happening. The Charlie thing was a very clear one, so it has no difference. It makes no difference whatsoever if you left, right? Like, if there's no recognition in a person that somebody's political views should never ever be considered an okay thing, a reason for unaliving someone. If there's no recognition of that fact, makes no difference again what your conviction about the world is, or how obnoxious you found what he said. That makes zero difference. If there's no recognition that that is not only not a reason to unalive someone, but also rejoicing in someone's DATH, a person again who was a father, a husband. If there's a glee in your heart, if there's happiness that arises in you because of such an event, no matter how much you disagreed with that person, you have marked yourself, my friends. You have marked yourself as someone who does that, who has that reaction. And the thing is, the simulation is registering everything. Karma is real. And it's not a matter of, it has nothing to do with punishment, by the way. It has to do with what kind of history you're going to find yourself in. The reason I'm trying to encourage people to get a little bit to relax with their strong opinions and to kind of get a little bit more in the center of things is because if something makes a lot of sense to you, like if that kind of a thing makes sense to you, to be gleeful about somebody's ending, you're going to find yourself in a history in which this makes sense. I don't know if I need to spell out what that looks like, because the next person that this might happen to you might be you, and other people will be very gleeful about that, and that would just be the norm in that world. Now, is this a world that you want to live in? I don't think so. I think that if anybody is being honest with themselves, nobody wants to live in that kind of a world. There's balance in everything. So the truth is that the inability to extend the human component to one another in the face of no matter what is basically the end of civilization. Now, whether we are the hostages of the conviction of the majority of our species, or we would bifurcate and actually start evolving into different histories, either way, I will live my timeline in such a way that in either case, whatever the truth about it is, I will do my best. So when I look back, I'm okay with my choices and I'm okay with the way that I was behaving. By the way, just a quick plug-in, the line of clothes on YouTube that you can see of merch called Human First is exactly about that. And if you want to get one of these items, you're going to be helping the channel tremendously. And I think you should be wearing it proudly, because the whole idea there is that treating each other as humans first is the most important thing before your political affiliation, before your convictions about the world. Those should matter nowhere near how much it matters of how we treat each other. And again, just to clarify to all the animal lovers, I'm an animal lover. Human first does not mean we first, which means it's just how we treat each other. Human first before any conviction. And it also would spill into how we treat the biosphere and animals, by the way. So humanly. So I would say that in order to stay centered is first thing is try not to engage in any communication with people that seem to be closed to that communication. Very often people don't really talk with you, they talk at you. And that's very clear that there's no channel of communication there. So you can yell with a megaphone. I can't even pronounce that word right now. Megaphone. You can, speak as loudly as you want. They're not going to listen because they're just not listening. Listening is a choice. And I think what happened is that a lot of people are too convinced in their positions and they're not able to step down, even in the face of a tragedy, to some human level where we can see each other. Again, that's not a worth having future. I think that should be pretty clear to everybody. And the great marking is a real thing. You actually kind of marking where you are in that thing. And again, it has nothing to do with political affiliation. I want to make it super clear. It has nothing to do with it. It just has to do with like a way of being in the world, of how do you treat others, other people, other animals, anything that is not you. Where do you find what, Joy? What are we talking about? Oh, on the YouTube store, Dango Thoughts. DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. The merch is there. And you can find the links to it in the link tree in the description on TikTok. Any new discoveries? Anything with magnets? Are lasers the only thing that causes the effect? Magnets, we're going to try with more powerful magnets. With the magnets we tried so far, no, it didn't work. And this laser, the only thing causing the effect, is the only thing, as far as we know, to see the code super, super clearly. That I can tell you so far. Hold on, let me also go through some of these. Meditation. Again, audience here would know that I'm always recommending Vipassana, mostly because it's free and it's everywhere. You can just sign up and go. All you got to do is dedicate 10 days of your life and you're good to go. It will teach you enormous amounts about yourself and about what's possible in this world. Free. Isn't it crazy? It's completely free. I mean, it's donation based, so you can donate if you want at the end, but nobody's going to come look for you. So, like, if you can't donate, that's okay. Just sign up, type in Vipassana and where you live, and it's going to tell you the closest center. What up, science? Have you tried shining laser on gold diamond? So far, no, not yet. P.S. It's me. It's me who? Mark, is that you? The time, tea time. Everyone needs some. Yeah, some good tea time is over. That's a good one. Some good tea time actually. That would help a lot. Thank you, Guru. How is psychedelics consciousness and UAP phenomena connected? Are the NIH especially interested in frequency of trip? So I don't know what this last comment is about, but the intersection I think is pretty tight. I'm not sure what it is. I think psychedelics open some channels of perception. That's pretty clear. Consciousness is just a fundamental substrate of everything, so it's connected to everything. UAPs, it's not clear to me. I know they're connected somehow, but because I have very limited interaction with those, I don't really know because I can't report from first principles and first-hand experience. I'm just kind of re-reporting what people see. I've seen them sometimes, but not enough to say that I understand enough about them. I've never seen them on. Thank you so much. I've never seen them on psychedelics. I know people report this sometimes, but I've never experienced this. I do see other worldly beings, multidimensional beings, but they don't seem to me at all what people describe as the UAPs and the Greys. What's up, Aaron? How you doing, brother? Thank you so much for the heart and the gifts. Today is a gift day, I guess. Thank you. Ambient is hoping it's an alien invasion. bring closer together across the world. Well, we can also come closer without the alien invasion, you know? That's the gift of actually putting our attention in the right place. I find myself constantly battling between being disgusted with humanity and our selfishness and knowing that people are good and deserve love. I think people overall are just confused, you know? Um, and loving ourselves as humanity as a whole is a key component um, in order to proceed. Because if we hate ourselves, we're just going to create a world in which we're not worth loving. Just like you would give it that advice to an individual, the same advice goes, I think, collectively. Promer Mitsu saying, "Hey man, apologies if you've been asked this recently, but any update on Eddie Bravo trying the protocol?" Eddie did it. Yeah, he did. He saw the code. That was we talked about it. Will we do it without the invasion? Ambient Glass is asking. I'm hopeful. I think we will. I think the days of self-loathing are numbered. I think the voices, the very loud voices, they keep repeating they were terrible, and the division voices, they're getting louder. But I feel like the much more subtle, central, balanced people, the bulk of them actually woke up with what happened, and they're starting to actually rise the tide, and eventually this very quiet middle will just drown the crazy noise that people are trying to yell, and I think that's going to be the end of that. I feel like, at least in my awareness of this reality, people are done with this thing. They're done with cancel culture. They're done with crazy self-congratulating, uh, fake empathy towards things, which is just designed to amplify one own signal and advertise that they're the good person that cares about this or that. I think the days of this are numbered. People are done with this nonsense. If people who really care, they really care and they do something about it. They don't just yell about it. And also, solutions in the world are difficult. And people who work on solutions tend to be quieter because they actually work on real problems. They don't have time to scream nonsense. So I'm hopeful. Aliens could be all friendly and we could be the scary ones because of our fear. I would be scared, no lie. Yeah, we can be scary as well. That's true. That's really kind of you, Ambient Glass. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of just relax. It's more that than the yelling back. Next time somebody is like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah," just go see what, look at their face. What was the most interesting artifact of knowledge you were able to bring back to 3D? To me, was when I saw that even the highest of beings does not know why everything exists. That blew my mind, to be honest. I used to be much more balanced and loving. I think I'm leaning to get back to that state of mind. I'm tired of the fake woke bullshit. Real love is quiet and patient, not loud and angry. Exactly. Beautiful. Worlds of wisdom. And you're not alone. I think the majority of people are just like you. They just don't want to engage. They don't have the energy to engage with all this craziness. But now I think people start to understand that they have to. So the people that are more like you and me, they're just, okay, let's just put our best foot forward and try and make a difference. Uh, Agent Smith saying, since we shot their relatives out of the sky. um, we must time is up. Oh, we must time is up. Sounds dire, but I mean, I guess, yeah. Just, in the end of the day, look, think about it like this. whatever the true outcome is, you want to be able to look back no matter what it is. Here's where the power of a certain attitude is versus another. If you've done everything you could to the best of your ability, nobody can do it across the board. But to the best of your ability, whenever you could catch yourself, if you did your best and you treated as many people as fairly as you possibly could when you could see it. Obviously, you can't always see it. You can always notice because you never know who's sensitive about what. But you really tried, right? That's the truth about where you came from. That's the truth about who you are, right? When you look back at whatever happened, you can live with yourself. You you say, okay, it is what it is, but I really tried. That you can live with. But if you discover at the end that you could do better, but you just chose not to because of selfish reasons, because you wanted to appear a certain way in a certain circle of friends, and then you made somebody else feel really shitty about it. You got somebody fired because you wanted to be a part of a mob because it felt good in the moment, and you knew that nobody's going to know that you added to the fire and that person got fired. When you're going to look back, you're going to have a very hard time with yourself. That's the thing that you can't escape, your own judgment of yourself. That is the thing that is the secret silent, that is the silent secret, and nobody tells you, that no one judges you in the end but you. But you are the most harsh critic of yourself. When you truly open it up, the reason that psychedelics are so difficult for some people, because they open this window of the true self-judgment of what in fact you're doing. And if you live in a certain way, it's sometimes very hard to deal with. And at a certain point, it's like that's the beauty of this world, that the it's ornamented in such a perfect way that it all just fits. And the thing that people always, what is missing now in the world more than anything else, are voices of discernment. And discernment is slightly different than just recognition of the truth or understanding or any of these other words. Discernment is a very profound word because it almost has biblical implications. Discernment means being able to see things for what they really are. And notice that in the modern times, a lot of people even believe that there's no such thing. They say, oh, it's all provisional. It's whatever you think it is, it's what it is. Things have essence. And we have the ability to have discernment if we choose to develop that tool. And discernment can make it very easy for you to understand what is correct in a situation, what is not correct in a situation. And even in situations where very, very, very difficult to see. So, for example, one of the biggest things that people are always confused about is looking at only outcomes decoupled from intention. Outcomes matter. Like you don't get to have the best intentions, and then if you have the best intentions your whole life, but every single time you do what you do, a lot of people get hurt. It's not true to say that just because you always had good intentions, that's okay. Because every single time you do something, something gets messed up. It's your responsibility to also have a track record and look back and say, yo, okay, maybe what I'm intending, I need to assess how I go about things because it happens every time. That's a responsibility each person holds. But I would say just as important, if not more important, is the intention. Because for the most part, if the intention is truly like towards the direction of the greater good of all and like the contribution, the chances of things really going haywire every single time over time, they're very low because you're really trying to be cognizant of other people. Japan is a good example of this. People constantly live almost like on a pathological level of noticing others. And that makes a very big city, very big, busy city work pretty well. And that's because of that. Now, you can say that there might be a happier middle where people still have more of an individuality and stuff. That's fine. But there's definitely something about intention that is very key component. So it's not quite this, in philosophy, there's this famous example people give where somebody walks down the street and wanted to mug somebody, so they stab them and they unalive them by doing so. And a surgeon in a hospital cut somebody open and tried to save their lives, but it failed, and the person was unalived. In both cases, another human used a sharp object to cut somebody open, and in both cases, somebody was unalived. In both cases, the outcome is the same, but the intention is makes all the difference in the world. Because if somebody intended to do that, to actually unalive somebody, that means they're the kind of person who at least once can intend to do so. Therefore, they might do it again because they have this tendency. But if somebody constantly tries to save somebody, and in order to do so, they have to do something that on the surface of it might be dangerous, that's not the same, because their intention, their tendency is different. And a civilization is not different. The tendency of a society, of a civilization, really matters, because over time it's going to become the majority of what happens. If the tendency is constantly to obfuscate and lie about things and just do, like, that's the thing that needs to be looked at. The outcome in the world is secondary. Also important, but secondary, because of what I just described. This example should illustrate this fully. Let me see. Ooh, Kami Bez in the house. I haven't seen you in a while. Again, going to remind everybody on Discord, if you guys want to raise your hand, let me know and I'll bring you on. Just going to remind everybody again, if you guys want to follow on Twitch, it's LaserX83 on Twitch. I can't get vision or lucid dreams if I have THC in my system. Yeah, that's actually pretty common, by the way, just so you know. Thank you, Guru, for reminding everybody to like and share. If you guys want to like it across the platforms, the algorithms really love this. The deepest strives. Hello. Good to see everybody. All right. Human first, indeed. Human first. To keep the visions, dreams from forming. Oh, you don't like the visions? Scott Williams saying, use the THC much less. Most people abuse it. And I find it very sad. It is a beautiful thing. In moderation, most things are. I agree. Finding a good relationship with the spirit is the important thing. All of these things are spirits. I don't think intention matters, but actions do. Well, I just illustrated to you how intention is everything. The difference between somebody wanting to stab you and somebody who's trying to save you, and then they have to cut you to do so, and it just fails, the difference is complete. If this point doesn't illustrate that to you, I'm not sure what will. If that's not clear to you, that that's everything, because people are their intentions. The outcomes are the average aggregation of their intentions. So they're much, much less than what the intention is, because the intention says something about the kind of person that you are. Outcomes can say that if you're completely oblivious to what you're doing, but a lot less so, just like in that example. Again, if that example didn't drive it home for you, I'm not sure what will, truly. I think that example is as clear as anything can be. You don't need to take everything into account. You living in the average of what happens, not in all the things that can possibly happen. So, in the average of what happens, intention is literally everything. A little experience, second note. I was wondering if certain rituals are protecting you from bad entities, or are these rituals just a way to bring you in good mood so you're not scared in the first place? I think they're both true. So, yes, I do think that there is some agreement, some container that you're forming when you're doing these, when you're creating these intentional spaces by doing a little ceremony, and also brings you in a state, which is another container to a particular level of awareness that creates a safer vessel. I think both are true. You don't need perfect data. You just need enough data to act. But I think we drove this point home enough. I highly recommend to do these ceremonies for sure. Scab Williams saying, I did ask a question about lucid dreaming. That spurred the comment about it. So, okay, let's see. So, what was the comment? What up, Fantasia? Appreciate you, Ambient Glass. What are your thoughts on lucid dreaming? I had lucid dream experience in 2010. It forever changed my life more than any psychedelic ever has, though they have done some heavy lifting. Yeah, I mean, lucid dreaming can be very powerful because it shows you that you can acquire agency even when senses are not present, which is very interesting. What is it about that experience specifically that for you changed your life so drastically, though? If this is a movie, the plot twist is coming soon. Honestly, at this point, I don't even think it's a plot twist. But that's a really good line. I like it. It's a good t-shirt. Crazy dreams. Interesting. There are certain things, Agent Smith, to your question, to your comment, because Agent Smith is saying, you can believe you are doing the right thing while your actions kill someone's intentions is relative. But the chances of that happening across the board are extremely low. If you dedicate your life to help other people, like truly from the inside, that is the thing that drives you and gives you meaning, like you help the homeless, things like this, the chances of you constantly harming people is way lower than somebody who's walking around actually trying to harm people. The idea that actually derives meaning and pleasure out of that, the idea that they're comparable, is a modern philosophical sickness. That's the way that I see it. Postmodernism is a very what's the word? It's a very conniving attempt at hijacking a healthy mind and tell you that there is no truth to the matter. There absolutely is. So it is not quite to say that we will ever have access to the ultimate truth, but there are certain things that are objectively better or worse in terms of the question, what is the better way to proceed? Here's a very simple question to the answer, what is the better way to proceed? If you and I are to spend a certain amount of time together in a room because we're stuck there in an elevator, whatever it is, would all things equal, would it be better or worse for one of us for no reason at all to bash each other in the head with a heavy object? The answer is very clear. It would be worse. Unless you describe some other scenario that necessitates it for some other reason that would override the badness of it for some greater good that we have to discuss. But notice I just framed it. All things being equal, nothing is requiring it. Would it be better or worse for us to bash each other over the head? Worse. Objectively worse? Yes. Objectively worse. If this proposition doesn't run through, you are not on a different perception of what is also true. You are wrong about what's true. Let's see here. Scott Williams saying, I lost all sense of separateness and was invisible from everything that can be observed. That sounds lovely. For eternity. Wow, like a ghost. Until I woke up. But it was absolute consciousness from falling asleep to waking. I mean, that sounds amazing. That sounds more than just a lucid dream. It sounds like an awakening dream. It's so hard for people to admit they are wrong. I don't even obviously there's a reason for it. So like I'm not saying it sounds like I don't but I truly like it's the one thing that I can never understand the insistence of people on this point. It's like you win nothing by not acknowledging this point. I guess that's the train that Sam Harris was on for a long time, where he couldn't understand why people can't just admit that there's right and wrong answers to questions of how to treat each other. Like it's clearly there's right and wrong answers, and for some reason, people can't make the distinction between that claim and the idea that there's ultimate answers. Nobody's saying that there's one way to do better things or worse things, and nobody's saying there's one way to do it. However, there's clearly a better and a worse way to do it. There's definitely an up and down direction, right? So just like you have different directions, but you have up and down for sure. The fact that people can't admit that, to me, is a very strange quirk of the philosophical pocket we're in right now. It's a very strange region of philosophical inquiry that we're in. Easier to fool someone than convince someone he was fooled. True. Your experience with wait, you are experienced with the bad entities. Were you able to analyze them? Did you find out that these are just hurt souls or maybe even multidimensional artificial intelligence programs who are designed to haunt some of us? I think it's this is where one of these kind of provisional things does come into play, where the different notes of dark versus light do express themselves throughout reality and they do find their place. And some entities, they're just feed of negative energy and therefore they would try and incite it. That's their nature and they do play a role. Um, in the human domain, on the human level, there are truths about the kind of states of consciousness we can induce in one another over time, which gives the right and wrong their flavor. So the fact that it's objectively worse to bash each other over the head for no reason has to do with the fact that humans experience pain and that their well-being is objectively lowered when they experience pain, especially pain for no reason, especially pain induced by another human for no reason. These are truths about human experience. If the nature of the entity is more of the dark flavor, it becomes a little different because of their nature, what they come from, the tapestry they're made out of, is to induce more of that. They might be playing some other larger game, which is part of the picture, but it's a little different because they're not doing anything wrong in that sense. They're just doing what they are, right? And it's kind of hard to say because there is this entire conversation between whether they are just expressions of our deeper worlds or are they their own thing. And that's kind of hard to answer sometimes because maybe some of them exist on their own side, but some of them are expressions of our inner world. And, I don't think we're in a position to really know. But this is where I would create a distinctive line where all the claims about, right and wrong in more objective terms for humans rest on truths about what humans are and how they can experience pain and pleasure and all of that, all of those things. That is why it was a life changing. It was not a dream. It was an eternal spiritual experience, but I achieved it 100% sober. Amazing. Through whatever we call sleeping. That is incredible. Oh, what is this? I can't wait to open my suggested page on YouTube and be excited again. Things are just but I know the good days are coming. They're here, guys. They are here. All right. I think it's a good note to slowly start to bring it to a close for today. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for participating. A couple of announcements. If you guys want to follow me across platforms, it will be Danny Goller on Instagram and TikTok. It will be Goller Danny on X. It will be LaserX83 on Twitch and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. Come and grab your merch on YouTube from the two series. We have Human First series, which I really love. I highly recommend people wear this so we can create this movement and push it more, and you'll be helping the channel. And you also have the designs for Code of Reality that you can wear. There's some pretty cool items there that actually I really like. And what else? Join the membership program on YouTube that gives you early access to all my content. Weekly lives access that is for members only, in which we kind of dive deeper into subjects and talk about them. It's a lot of fun. So if you join the members program, you will get access to that. If you join from the second tier up, just make sure you email me as well. You'll get an invite for a Zoom call once a month with me. Last month we just couldn't have one, but I will have two this month, so you win extra. Join that, and we'll do a couple of really fun calls. And what else? If you still want to donate to the film, you're free to do so. You can find the trailer to the movie The Discovery. It's also the name of the video, The Discovery, on Dango Thoughts on YouTube. DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. You can find the link to it in the link tree in the description on TikTok, or you can just go to Dango Thoughts on YouTube and find it. And you can find a GoFundMe page under it. If you donate over $1,000, you will be added to a list of people that will see the movie all together for the first time ever in history. I think that's pretty neat. And if not, of course, you'll see the film still, because we're going to be making sure that it's everywhere. And come check out my new show on Spotify, 0 to 1 with Danny Goller, from Earthbound Minds to Cosmic Citizens, where we discuss all topics that have to do with the future of evolution of humanity. Very excited about the show, and we're going to have some fun guests coming along. And please come join our Discord, the link to which you can find on YouTube on the main page and on TikTok in the link tree. And check out our website, codeofreality.com, where we have the lasers, the protocols, and some merch as well. codeofreality.com. I appreciate our incredible moderator, Ambient Glass. Ambient Glass might as well. You're always here. Our incredible moderator, Guru. Thank you so much, brother. You're always here. And on Discord, you're such a blessing. Thank you so much. The Spotify, 0 to 1 with Danny Goller. 0 to 1 with Danny Goller. Check it out. Thank you so much for asking. I appreciate you. And thank you so much for the audience members who are here asking questions, engaging in debate. It's a lot of fun. Thank you so much, everybody. Old listeners, new listeners, welcome. I really appreciate you. Thank you to Carter, my partner, and Aaron, the director of the film, who's going to bring you a bomb at the end of this year. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night, everyone. See you tomorrow. Ciao. See you, everyone.